the location of West Africa and its mineral positions in relation to other sub-regions in the African continent. And this one is just trying to also give us a picture of the various forms of mining operations, apart from the surface mining that is being undertaken by major mining companies. We also have people who are busily doing this artisanal mining. And then also we have a lot of underground mines all around. However, the emergence of these mining companies and the activities of these mining companies definitely have some impact on our socio-economic environment. And these impacts need to be managed if really we want to make mining very sustainable and then also make it environmentally friendly. So we say even though some negative impact from mining activities are inevitable, many can be avoided during the mining if appropriate prevention and mitigation measures are established through effective collaboration and participation. These adverse impacts of mining need to be addressed if development starting from mineral exploitation is to bring long-term benefit to the communities and then the country as a whole. Unless the environmental and social impact of mining are managed, the considerable disruption to livelihood and the social fabric of communities which are adjacent to these mines can mitigate any positive contribution that mining makes. And if we take a look at what is happening in most of our mining towns in Ghana, especially Obuasi, Takwa, Ayamfre, Dunkwao, and the likes, even though a lot of positive impacts are there, but because of the way and manner they are managed, nobody seems to be talking about the positive impacts, but rather talk about only the negative impacts. However, if these negative impacts are to be addressed, it must not be done by only the mining companies. We need effective collaboration and participation of the local stakeholders in order to address these impacts. And it is against this backdrop that the African Mining Vision attempts to offer the solution in a quote that I found so much interesting and really wish to share with us. According to the African Mining Vision, the way out to address these negative impacts is seen in this quote. And it says that a transparent and inclusive mining sector that is environmentally and socially responsible, which provides lasting benefit to the community and pursues an integrated view of the rights of various stakeholders, is essential to addressing the adverse impact of the mining sector and to avoid conflict induced by mineral exploitation. Public participation in assessing the environmental and social impact and the enforcement of impact assessment requirement is important in tackling these challenges. So, if you really want to address these impacts and to make mining more positive to everybody, including especially the communities where the mining companies operate, then we need effective collaboration and participation of all stakeholders in addressing whatever challenges that the mining bring. So we're trying to find what is collaboration. When we say we need to collaborate, what do we mean by collaboration? It is the process of two or more people or organizations working together to complete a task or achieve a goal. So if the common goal is to mitigate the impact of mining, to address these negative impacts, then when stakeholders and the mining companies team up, they work in conjunction with each other, they cooperate with each other, they will be able to find a lasting solution to achieve the common goal. Collaboration always requires leadership. Although the form of leadership can be social within a decentralized or egalitarian group, and that is why the mining company as a major stakeholder must always take the lead and bring all stakeholders on board in order to address these challenges. Teams that work collaboratively often access greater resources, recognition, and rewards when facing competition for finite resources. What then is participation? Participation in development can be defined as the process through which people with an interest, into brackets stakeholders, influence and share control over development initiatives and the decisions and resources that affect them. So we have collaboration and then we have participation. Now, in order to ensure effective participation, then practically we need to identify our relevant stakeholders. We need to share information with them, listen to the views of those stakeholders, involve all the stakeholders in process of development planning and decision making. We need to contribute to their capacity building and ultimately empower them to initiate, manage, and control their own self-development rather than imposing certain things on them. Who are stakeholders? When we talk of stakeholders, we are talking about people or communities who may directly or indirectly, positively or negatively, affect or be affected by the outcomes of projects or programs, in this case, mining operations. The type of stakeholders that we have primary stakeholders and then we have secondary stakeholders. Our primary stakeholders are the beneficiaries of the project intervention, or those who are directly affected positively or negatively by the project. An example include our local population, individuals and community-based organizations in the project areas, in particular the poor and the marginalized groups. These are the primary stakeholders. And our secondary stakeholders are those who influence a project intervention or are indirectly affected by it. They include the investors and shareholders, our borrowing institutions, the local governments, regulators, civil society organizations, private sector firms, etc. So once we are able to identify our primary and then our secondary stakeholders and apply the principle of collaboration and participation effectively, then we can address this impact of mining activities or operations in our communities.
Good mine-community relationship should therefore be developed in the context of effective collaboration and participation of local stakeholders at all levels in order to manage these impacts of mining, vis-a-vis environmental impacts, social impacts, the mining and human rights, mining and environmental, and then the local context. The mine outbreaks by AGC in the 1990s in a mining community at the central region named Wapim in the Iron Free was actually backfilled. And once the pit was backfilled, it was revegetated grass, and the local community is now using it as a football pitch, which is serving as a positive thing for the community. And this is because the communities were involved as to how they want the land to be used after the mining operation has ceased. And the mining companies also tailored the reclamation plan towards that objective. So as we can see, this is a pit, the picture you see there, which was mined out and has been completely backfilled. And if you are not told that a mining activity has taken place here, one might find it difficult to see. And this one is being used as a football pitch by the local community, which to me is serving as a good purpose. We also have a waste dump which has been well rehabilitated, and once we can return that one to a good use by the community into farming activities and then even alternatively livelihood, we can also tie into that government policy. We look at the social impact, and it's well known, and a lot of people talk about it. Displacement of communities whenever mining operation is coming. Companies tend to resettle, but when the resettlement comes, people are displaced from their local places. Do we go and put up buildings of the same stature that we are dismantling at a new place, or we try to modify it so as to raise the social status of the community concerned? All this can be achieved through effective collaboration and participation of the local stakeholders, especially those that are affected. And then also we need to leave monumental structures that can be seen, which people can always make reference to after the mining operations have ceased. And all these things can be jointly decided between the mining companies and the local communities. And in this case, the establishment of the trust fund, where companies always put, for example, some money towards development project within the catchment area, is a good example that must be followed. And the Edicam Trust Fund of the Pesos Mining Ghana Limited is a living testimony to that. We can see from here a resettlement project that was undertaken by Edicam Madas Pesos Mining Ghana Limited. And the kind of structures, the buildings that were put there were actually jointly determined by the company and the local communities. And we try as much as possible to raise the standard a bit. And if you go there now, it's becoming a new area for the iron frame community. And it's something that can be emulated by all mining companies. And I think the people are really enjoying the place. When we talk about human rights, mining and human rights, the exploitation also affects people's rights. For example, during blasting, people complain that we exceed the threshold, and therefore there are a lot of agitation, there are a lot of complaints. In order to address these complaints and to ensure transparency, you can involve the local communities during the measurement of these values in the blasting process. And this is something that is being also implemented at Pesos Mining Ghana Limited, that is Edicam, where anytime we are going to have blasting, in order to ensure transparency and for the local communities also to know that we are not short-changing them. We involve them in the measurement, we are taking them through training, and they know whether we are exceeding or we are not exceeding. And that, to some extent, has given us some kind of stability to operate over there. And we involve a lot of people in our decision making. When we talk of mining and employment, it's one area that everybody is concerned about. And yesterday we learned that since the breakup of most of the, or almost all the state mining companies, a lot of employments were lost. And most of the mining companies or mining towns became something like a ghost. But with the advent of the new mining companies coming, that's the private ones, most of these towns are also coming back to life. And a lot of employment opportunities are being generated. And we can do this effectively if we collaborate and then we involve all the stakeholders, even in the employment process. A quota can be reserved for the local communities, and this can be done through collaboration. Also, a typical example is when you come to Pesos Mining, whenever there is an employment opportunity for unskilled labor, the community is first notified, and people who apply to be employed are taken through interview. And in the interview panel, we have community stakeholders sitting in the panel, the interview, to make sure that all those people we are interviewing are really from the community. And in that sense, once we have involved them, they will accept whatever results that comes in. And that is one way that we can use to also address or mitigate these impacts of employment. We can also look at our local content policy as the best way to also address some of the challenges or the impacts of the mining operations, where participation and collaboration can help. The local content talks about how the local people can really be involved or can be employed. Not only employment, but how we can use the local resources, things that are manufactured locally, how we can even use the local artisans in some of the activities that take place in the mining communities. And this one, the local content is actually giving a legal backing, and all mining companies are supposed to comply. And in the year 2015, we look at the local content and realize that
we had only about 8 items in 2015 for the local content. However, in the year 2018, as we speak now, the number has more than doubled to about 28, 29. And to me, that has been achieved because of people's participation, the collaboration, a forum like this, where decisions are made and stakeholders also listen, and then we are able to fashion out policies and then laws that bind all the mining companies to comply. So what we are trying to say is that when it comes to the local content status in Ghana, we have the various categorization. As I said, it can be in the area of employment. And when we talk about the employment, the community should be the first point of call whenever there is a vacancy for employment, especially if it is unskilled labor. And where we have opportunity to also give national service quota, and then also internship to students who live in the catchment area. These are the areas that we can also look at in order to motivate the community. We also look at the area of procurement, where suppliers within the catchment area are the first point of call whenever we want to order something. And this morning, we were shown a list of items that are within the local content framework, where we can really get them. And once we are able to identify them in the areas that we operate, then we don't have to look elsewhere, but we have to look within the community in order to get some of these challenges or problems addressed. We can use Ghanaian registered haulage companies for our transporting system. In the area of the support services, when it comes to contractors, people that take our workers to and from work, we can fall on the local communities through participation and collaboration to address this issue. Sourcing of explosives from a Ghanaian registered company, using indigenous Ghanaian companies to provide catering services. When we talk about fuel supply, we can also use companies that are owned by Ghanaians. And then using the local Ghanaian mining companies as well, we can also boost the local content. And all these are in the area of support services. In the area of the skill transfer and training, the mining companies can also do well by giving the catchment areas or the communities a lot of skill training in order to make them skillful for future employment. And we can make use of our institutions of learning. That's the UMAT, the KNUST, our polytechnics, and all the universities, so that we can train them to make them more employable. And in that doing, we are involving them in whatever decision that we make and empowering them also for the future after the mining operations have ceased. In conclusion, there is no evidence beyond the above to indicate that West Africa has proved attractive for mining investors. The good results from exploration can only mean abundant resource for the foreseeable future. The region, as we all know, is also standardizing its rules and regulations in order to continue to attract new frontiers in the mining industry. It is prudent that all mining companies develop and strengthen their internal local content policies, which ensures that other small local firms in communities the mining companies operate are the first point of call when they need any supplies and support services. And through an effective collaboration and participation, the mining companies and local stakeholders can achieve the following: develop a shared vision for the mining sector, mitigate the adverse impact of the mining in our mining communities, ensure mining environment for a sustainable mining industry in the 21st century and beyond, and turning some of the perceived negative environmental impact into positive social monuments for use by local communities when mining activities take place. Thank you.